Just how much sodium is in your favorite foods? Today, we're gonna take a look, measuring them up against the Food and Drug Administration's daily recommended dose, which is 2,300 milligrams or roughly 1 teaspoon. Fruits, vegetables, meat, dairy, we're gonna cover as many as we can. Which one tips the scale and which one barely makes a dent? Let's find out. But before we begin the video, I wanted to give you a quick update on our Buff Dudes cookbook. It's coming out this holiday season. It's gonna be our biggest book yet, and it's gonna be packed full of all the recipes we've featured on our channel, in addition to some new ones. Full color on every single one, in addition to a whole lot more. We're super excited, so look for it soon. And in the meantime, you can pick up our workout plans at www.buffdudes.us. They're available now. Grab a copy, show some support. Hell yeah. First on the list is going to be one of the items with the lowest amount of sodium, and that's gonna be green peas. You can have 1 whole pound, and in it, you're going to find 0 milligrams of sodium. So if watching your sodium is something that you yourself is looking out for, then you can't really go wrong with green peas. That goes the same with the frozen broccoli. 10 ounces is gonna be 70 milligrams, so a little bit higher, but really a very small amount all considering. On the other hand, if you take something such as cauliflower and you begin to add seasoning, you can see that jumps up substantially. We've got 13.5 ounces topping the scales at 3,500 milligrams. So this little amount of cauliflower, which you could easily consume in one meal, you're already over a couple hundred milligram of your daily serving of sodium, if you are using the 2,800 milligrams as a guideline. If not, of course, that wouldn't apply. And as you can see, with a lot of the fresh whole foods, sodium is very low, and that's how it goes for almost all natural food. There's really not a lot of sodium in them. But when you begin to go into the processed or packaged foods, that's when the whole game changes. As you can see, 16 slices of pepperoni is gonna set you back 2,160 milligrams. 4 sausage links is gonna be 2,600 milligrams. And if you may be thinking, well, why don't I go ahead and switch it up so that it's vegan? Maybe that's gonna help you out. Well, not so fast, because the 4 vegan sausage links is just a little bit less at 2,000 milligrams. And that's the thing with vegan. The natural versions, or the whole foods that we covered earlier, is amazing. But once you start to get into prepackaged, it doesn't matter if you're a carnivore, if you're an omnivore, if you're a vegan, most of it is gonna contain a lot of sodium, in addition to a lot of other ingredients you may not even realize you're having. The 18 slices of bacon is gonna be 2,480, and that was a little less than I thought personally. You think of bacon, you think salty. A lot of pork is a little bit more on the higher sodium side, but the bacon isn't too bad, all considering. The 8 cans of tuna is 2,240 milligrams. And again, there's probably not gonna be a lot of people that go through 8 cans of tuna a day. If you do, you're probably a little bit more concerned with mercury than sodium, so not horrible. Whereas 1 can of beef soup is gonna be 1,900 milligrams, so quite a bit in a small container, which you could easily have for lunch or dinner, maybe even have 2. I know it takes me more than 1 can to satisfy me. And you can have 2 cans of chili, or 30 ounces, that's gonna be 2,300 milligrams. So a lot of sodium there as well, and a lot of sodium in canned meats in general. A full box of crackers, 12 ounces worth, is gonna be 3,150. So you're already over the daily recommendation right there, but again, probably not a lot of people that are gonna be eating a full box of crackers. I am the exception, as I can eat pretty easily a full box of crackers, but most of you I think are probably on the safe side. Whereas something you gotta be really cautious with is seasoning. 1 tablespoon is gonna set you back 3,120 milligrams. And that's just 1 single tablespoon. And that brings up a good point. A lot of times when you go to restaurants, a lot of the stuff tastes really good because they butter, oil, and season the hell out of that thing. So what tastes so delicious a lot of times is the sodium and also the fat. And you know, you gotta treat yourself, so you can't be too scared every single time that you go out to eat, but it's still something good to keep in mind. 1 pound of chips is gonna be 2,210. Again, much like the crackers, not a lot of people, they're gonna be going through one whole bag of chips. Whereas with 60 pretzels, which I know I can go through very easily, that's gonna be 1,920 milligrams. So something to be cautious with there. 9 slices of bread is gonna be 1,620 milligrams. And most of you probably know that these are pretty damn salty, and you wouldn't be wrong. It's gonna be pork rinds, and they contain 3,040 milligrams of sodium. So one bag of pork rinds, which I know I can rip through very, very easily, you're already over your daily recommended dose. But that is nothing compared to our next one. That is gonna be a bag of jerky. Again, something I can easily go through all on my own. One bag is gonna be the highest offender on the sodium list. It's gonna have 5,900 milligrams. So over twice the daily recommended dose in just one bag. And we've got a whole pizza, which is gonna be 1,950 milligrams. The breaded chicken tenders, which is gonna be 1,780. And finally, we have the 4 frozen burritos, which is gonna set you back 2,200 milligrams. So there you go, a little look at how much sodium is contained in popular foods. Another thing to keep in mind is the 2,300 milligram daily sodium intake is simply a suggestion for those who are roughly consuming 2,000 calories a day. For those of you with an athletic lifestyle, you might be needing even more, as a lot of sodium will be lost throughout your workouts, which you'll want to replenish alongside the other electrolytes. Although the irony of this is that people who typically consume the most sodium are those with sedentary lifestyles. And I know a lot of you have your opinions on the amount of sodium you should be having, and you're not alone. Hillel Cohen, a researcher at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York, says he found no subgroup that actually benefited from a lower sodium diet, adding he himself doesn't pay attention to sodium. Whereas in direct contrast, Jeffrey Cutler, a scientific advisor at the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, says people who eat a salt-laden diet don't just have high blood pressure to worry about, they also may be courting osteoporosis, kidney stones, and even stomach cancer. So as you can see, wildly different opinions on sodium intake from 2 different doctors. And having said that, the point of this video isn't so much a guide on how much sodium you should be having, but simply showcasing how much sodium is in popular foods you're having. Ones you can find at almost any grocery store, and ones will be using the FDA guideline of 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day simply as a benchmark. I know for me, particularly, days will change. Some days I'll have 3,000 milligrams. Some days I'll even have up to 6, especially if I have some pork rinds or jerky, which I've had in the past. So let me know your thoughts on sodium and maybe some aspects of sodium which I didn't cover in this video. This one, alongside with the one I did on sugar, is supposed to be a very brief overview. Again, just kind of showing you what's in it, not necessarily vilifying or praising it, just showing you how much is in the foods that a lot of us eat. So let me know if you'd like another one on fat or protein or carbohydrates, and I will see you soon. Until then, stay buff.